What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. As you can see, we've got the Christmas tree up behind me. And I'm going to do a little video today on Mistweaver. Zoe set up the tree. It looks pretty dope. Looks pretty dope, right? Let's talk about Mistweaver. I'm going to talk about it in the context of the raid. So this video, I'm just going to showcase a couple of heroic fights that I've been doing on Mistweaver. This is Nymue or Nymue or whatever you want to say her name. I want to talk about why Mistweaver is so insane right now, why it is so good in the current season that we're in. And for context, I will jump in just for 1 second and show you my gear. Let's just pause this for a second. Let me just show you my gear. So, I'm in Brewmaster's back right now. Give me 2 seconds. We got to switch back. Mistweaver has been performing very, very well. There was even one in the Race to World First, if you guys were watching that. Every team had one. Right now, I am 474. If I put on the right trinkets for raid, then my item level goes up again. I think I would probably run the shield one. Let's just do that for now. But anyway, what I got in my last vault was really, really crazy. I got my 4-piece online, which is really important. Huge amounts of healing come out of this thing. I also got a mythic weapon, a 489 haste verse weapon, one of the best weapons I could probably ever get. I want haste as a Mistweaver. Verse is a great secondary stat. Very, very good stuff right now. The rest of my gear is coming along, mostly hero pieces. A couple of champ pieces still left that I'll have to upgrade later. But we're rocking a lot of hero gear, and it's just only going to get better. We're basically 473, 474, depending on kind of what gear I have going here. So I just wanted to give you that context, and we've also been pushing some Mythic Plus. I did some 22, some 21s, and a 20. We're getting all of our keys and our portals right now, so things are really good for Mistweaver. But when it comes to the raid, what is it that makes Mistweaver so good? I want to make sure I highlight how to heal as a Mistweaver, what makes it so good. In particular, let's start out with the Nymue fight. I'm healing this without really being in melee range. So right off the hop, just so you know, you can apply Mystic Touch with Crackling Jade Lightning from range if you want to for the entire fight. The reason that I'm not in melee like I really should be as a Mistweaver is because I'm kind of on flower duty. I'm trying to help the best that I can to deal with these flowers. You see I'm running around like a maniac right now, healing people and getting flowers. I want to try and stay in the middle of this encounter if possible, but I'm really just trying to get flowers no matter where they are, and then I'm using my cooldowns when they come up. You can see right here, I pop into Yulons. Watch my healing. I'm doing 168k right now per second, 168,000 per second, and then watch the healing. It's going to go up here, 172, 174. Yulons is just an insane cooldown, 175, 179, 180. The reason that Yulons is so good is because we take it with a bunch of supporting talents, and you get 33% more haste when you have your Celestial out. Yulon is your Celestial. The reason it's so good is because when you heal people with Yulons, you are applying Enveloping Mist and Renewing Mist at the same time. And when you do that, you also are hitting these allies with Gusts of Mist. So whenever you cast those spells, they're going to be applying those extra heals. So they're going to get a straight up big Gust of Mist heal, and then they're also going to get the 2 heal over times. They're going to get Renewing Mist and Enveloping Mist. So it kind of accomplishes both things. I think some of the ramps that you get from other healers like a Resto Druid, they're really only applying hots, right? It's a bunch of rejuvenations, a couple of wild growths, and then you extend them all with Flourish. But with Mistweaver, you get the best of both worlds. You're going to get that upfront Gust of Mist healing, and you're also going to get the healing over time. So I just wanted to show you, I did 197k overall in that one. I just wanted to show you that even in a fight where you can't fist weave as effectively as you would want to, you can still actually get a ton of healing done, and you can be effective as a ranged healer, basically as a ranged Mistweaver there. So that's that fight there. This is a Volcoross. This is the next boss that we did. We had a couple pulls on him. This was the pull where we actually end up getting the kill. Volcoross, you can be in melee basically the entire time. Again, you're not going to be fully fist weaving because you need to have Yulons, again, for this exact moment right here. Watch my ramp right now. I've already tossed out a couple of heals on my ramp window here, but it's about to get even crazier. The damage is going to start pouring in with Serpent's Fury. I'm just, look at everybody's health bars. I'm just pinging around to the lowest health ally, and I'm hitting them with a huge enveloping mist. Look at my healing right now, 287k right off the hop. You can almost cover the entire raid in a huge blanket of enveloping mists and renewing mists, and again, that upfront gust of mist that goes through, that really heals them. It keeps them kind of topped off, and then the hots will come in after to ensure that they don't get rotted down by any extra damage. So then you can also add in a Shaylin's Gift. I've been running Shaylin's Gift on every one of these fights, and I've been running it with the lower cooldown, the 4-second clouds that you're gathering rather than the 8-second clouds. Now, that's not going to be probably the most optimal way to play this once we get to the once we get into Mythic. I'm probably going to want to adjust my build a little bit. But while we're progging on Heroic, I want to basically be able to pump as much healing as I possibly can. I'm not out here trying to snipe heals from anybody. That's not the point. I'm just trying to make sure that the raid can actually live. We want people to live for as long as possible so we can get the kills, so we can get gear, so that we can get into Mythic. That's what I'm trying to do here. So this is, to me, right now, the best setup I can possibly have. I have Yulons. I have fully spec'd into Shaylin's. I will show you the talents in a little bit here. Here comes the big soak. This is the group soak. And then I'm doing an enveloping mist. I'm into my Yulons once again. This was actually probably a wasted Yulons, but I thought it was going to do more damage. But it's right into Serpent's Fury. So this is a really good point here. I could have waited on my Yulons. I should have waited until this damage went through. I could have been channeling an Essence Font right now. It would not have gotten interrupted. This would have been a much better use of my time. Essence Font right here. Then let it fully finish channeling. Then right now, then you could ramp and go into your Yulons. But I've already done Yulons. It's a little bit early. I'm not going to get it to overlap with Serpent's Fury very well. So my Yulons is falling off right now, and there's a bunch of Serpent's Fury damage going out. I mistimed that a little bit. Again, we've only pulled this guy like 4 or 5 times because we have so much damage. We just ended up kicking his butt. So, but just a little note there, just so you know, if you're going to get knocked out of that circle, that's going to happen every single time. It's going to interrupt some of your other casts. Just stop and do an Essence Font there, and you won't get interrupted. And I am running the Giga Essence Font. I'm running it with Upwelling, which is a really, really big boon to the amount of healing you can get from the Essence Font. At the end of a lot of these fights, my Essence Font is like in my top 3 for my healing. So it's a very, very good talent to take for raid. People are starting to die. My Yulons is 7 seconds away. So again, having a 1-minute Yulons is like the grossest thing ever. It is so crazy how good this cooldown is. And you can see it's up right now. If I wanted to use it, I could. I'm just kind of filling with Essence Font. I could do Rising Sun Kick, of course. I should do more Rising Sun Kicks. Right now, my Essence Font is on cooldown. That's another mistake. Again, I'm learning as I go here, but you want to use your Essence Font right here in this moment because you can get knocked out and still be channeling it while moving. So that's Volcoross down. Our people are just doing ridiculous amounts of damage here. This is why we can kind of just push these fights over. But again, 173k overall. I'm not sure if I look at the details. I have to res some people here. Poor Rich. I keep trying to keep Rich alive. Honestly, my biggest failure in the raid is that I keep letting Rich die, and I feel very bad about it, and it's honestly, I feel like a bit of a failure there. Obviously, our numbers are looking strong, but there's individual people. Rich is soaking like every mechanic on every fight, and I want to try and keep him alive, and I keep failing, so that's something I got to work on, but we'll get there. We'll get to the last fight that we did, which was Larodar. I'm not sure if I show the numbers here. No, I don't think I do. That's fine. So we're going to get to Larodar. It's at 147.13. Let's get there. Larodar is a very interesting fight in that it requires you to heal up a bunch of treants. So the treants are going to spawn here, and then they're enemies right now. We have to kill these treants, and then they turn into good treants. We have to heal those treants as the healers, and then they will heal the seed in the middle of the room. So this requires like a very weird sort of triage heal thing going on. And this can actually suck back a lot of your mana, which for Mistweaver is not an issue. And I just want to highlight, I think one of the absolute most insane reasons why Mistweaver is so good right now is because you have Mana Tea. Excuse me. You can see right now I'm using a lot of mana. I'm already down to 67% of my mana because I'm triage healing these treants as hard as I can. But that's not good to be down that much mana. But I can just... I'm stacking up my Mana Tea right now. I use it right now. I don't even know. Oh, yeah, I have to click on it. It's not keybound. I click on it, and look at this. I go right back up to 80% of my mana. I also have a mana pot, which I have on Shift 1 right here, which I can use at any time. I'm not even sure if I use it right now. I might. But on fights that are more mana intensive, that demand more mana out of you, you can easily get back your mana with Mana Tea, and there are so many other healers that don't have that option. So this makes Mistweaver really powerful for this one particular reason. You can use your mana as a cooldown, and it is something that healers actually have to get used to doing depending on what fight's going on. You can leverage your mana and use your really expensive spells to heal up the raid quickly and effectively, and you're going to use a lot of mana, but you can get it all back with Mana Tea and like a mana pot. And that's something that I do on all these fights. Right now, I would be sitting at like 40% mana if I was a different healer, but because of Mana Tea, I'm not. So there are moments in every fight where you need to use your cooldowns because they help you bypass your mana. And you do a ridiculous amount of healing inside of those cooldowns like I'm doing right now with my Yulons. But it doesn't cost very much mana, or it costs basically no mana at all. Things like Spirit Link Totem, things like Revival, they don't cost like basically any mana at all, but they're going to do massive healing on the raid. You can do that, and then there's also moments in a fight where for Mistweaver, you get to leverage your mana and use as much mana as possible because guess what? I'm back up to 74% of my mana again. I was down to like 47%, now I'm back up to 74%. Because you're able to do that. Other healers do not have that option. And I'm telling you, it is one of the best, probably one of the most powerful reasons that Mistweaver is in the meta right now and why it's so incredibly strong. And I just love it for that reason. You can kind of go ham. Now, this fight, we're continuing to heal up the treants here, and then we're going to have to heal up this seed. There's one more thing that we have to heal up. Somebody has to spray the seed. You can see the brambles right now. Sorry, the brambles is what I mean. Right here is the brambles. Somebody has to spray the brambles with the green stuff to make it turn evil, essentially. There we go. It's a bad guy now. Now they need to kill it, and then we can heal it, and then we can get inside that shield. That's how this fight basically goes. That's the bulk of this fight, and then you're just managing. There's my revival. See, that just instantly healed everybody. So instead of using mana on this Furious Charge, I'm just going to use revival. That's how cooldowns are supposed to be used. Watch this. Everybody just gets topped right here. Boom. It's actually not even a good revival. I didn't need to use it there. Honestly, that's not a good revival, but I was just kind of getting it on cooldown and using it so that I can focus on healing up this bramble and using a lot of my mana. Now I can leverage my mana once again and really just pump this thing full of healing to make sure that it's up in time. Now, we end up phasing the boss anyway, so it didn't matter, but that's kind of what you can do. Now there's a crap load of damage coming through here to be really careful. I'm in my Yulon's window. Here we go. Healing everybody up. Look at this healing, man. 190k. Yulon's is such a crazy cooldown for that upfront burst of healing and then the hots that it puts on afterwards. This is why Mistweaver is so powerful right now. This is it right here. That 1 minute cooldown is disgusting. Yes, it used a lot of my mana. Look at my mana. It's fairly low. But guess what? I can soak out here and I can start drinking my Mana Tea. I think I'm going to pop it right now. My mana goes from like 25% all the way up to 55%. So I probably drank mana like 4 times on this fight, and it is the reason why I was healing for so much. So if you're wondering how to get better as a Mistweaver, Mana Tea is the secret. Leverage your mana. Use it. Don't be afraid to use your mana and to go down, to dip down really low, because guess what? You can get it all back with Mana Tea, and then make sure you have a mana pot as well. Those are also very, very helpful, but this is something that compared to other healers, you can really use this to your advantage. Make sure you use your cooldowns like Revival, like Yulon's. There's a 1 minute cooldown. Yulon's is coming back right now. I pop it right now, and I start doing some triage healing because we're right at the end of this fight. I can see the end is near. I just want to keep everybody healthy so that they can blow up this boss, and that's how that ends up working. So those were some of our prog yesterday night in the raid, which was very good. We got Larodar down. I ended up getting this Smoldering Seedling, actually, which is a really, really, really good trinket. But I just want to highlight at the very end of this video a couple of things that are very, very important. Number one, Mana Tea, as I said. Here's my build. Let me look in there. I'll go to the raid here. This is the raid build that I'm typically using, okay? Couple of really important deviations here. Number one, I don't actually take Clouded Focus. It depends on what fight I'm doing. For Nymue, I would take Clouded Focus 100%. But for the rest of the fights, Ancient Teachings is actually okay. You can trigger Ancient Teachings with your Essence Font instead of triggering it with, because I don't have Feline Stomp. So you trigger it with Essence Font, and then you start doing damage, and it heals a little bit. This is something that can go either way. I really like to take Tear of Mourning as well. This basically makes your Vivify incredibly strong when it's healing through Renewing Mist. And if you don't know, your Invigorating Mist will, when you Vivify, it heals everybody that has Renewing Mist on them for 31,000, okay? Now, it is reduced beyond 5, but it still ends up being a ridiculous amount of healing, and I don't have it on here. Unfortunately, I can't see because I did a bunch of other keys. But the healing is really, really strong when you're doing it that way. This is the typical build that I'm running in Raid on a prog fight when I'm not going to be able to get a lot of uptime on the boss. This is a key one. Dancing Mist, your Renewing Mist have a chance to just go elsewhere, right? They have a chance to just replicate themselves. I really like Tear of Mourning because my Renewing Mist, because they spread so much for free on their own with Dancing Mist, and because of your Yulon, whenever you cast your Enveloping Mist in the Yulon window, it will add a Renewing Mist. So just for free. So you're going to end up getting 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10, and then maybe 12 or 13 Renewing Mists because they're going to start jumping around on their own, and then they're going to replicate with Dancing Mists. When you press Vivify multiple times in a row, your Vivify healing through Renewing Mist is increased by 20%, which is really, really insane. That makes this Invigorating Mist very powerful. So that's the talent tree that I'm running. That's how powerful Mistweaver is. One of the other really important talents is actually Yulon's Grace. I think this makes us one of the tankiest, if not the tankiest, healers in the raid. Yulon's Grace is insane. It ends up being like 6 to 7% of my overall healing in a raid fight because it just, you absorb so much magic damage. You also have Dampen Harm. You also could have Fort Brew if you want it. There's a very easy way to get Fort Brew. I could just get rid of my kick, and there's a couple of things that I have in here that I shouldn't even have in here. I think that Mistweaver is an amazing spec right now. I hope I tried to showcase for you here some of the reasons why it's so strong, particularly in the raid, and I also hope that I was able to show you how to heal when you're not really fist weaving. It really boils down to using your big cooldowns like Essence Font when you've got the upwelling stacks, using your Yulons when it's important, like when you need to use it, when the damage is pouring in, and then making sure in the meantime to spread your Renewing Mists like crazy. Those are some of the most important things. You've got Shaylins to sort of triage a group of people. It stacks up really quickly because of Veil of Pride. These are all the tools that you can use. You don't even have to be in melee. You can just heal people from the back lines if you need to. So Mistweaver is alive and well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I would love to hear from all of you. What has your experience been like healing right now? Are you healing on a Mistweaver? Are you healing on something else? I would love to hear from all of you down there. Thank you so much again for watching. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one.